Assassin's Creed Shadows upgrades the AC engine by leaving PS4, Xbox One behind. When Assassin's Creed Shadows launches on November 15th, it will be the first entry in the franchise built solely for current-generation hardware. Knowing this, the development team at Ubisoft Quebec wanted to do things that had never been done before on Assassin's Creed, or that frankly couldn't have been done before. To understand how Assassin's Creed Shadows uses new tech to bring new experiences to the franchise, we spoke with art director Thierry Dansereau and technology director Pierre Fortin. Ubisoft's tech directors explained just how much the new tricks in the Anvil engine powering the game make players feel like they're walking around in a richly realized world layered with dynamic weather and procedurally generated conditions, from the clouds in the sky to the dust under your character's feet. In order to improve image quality and ensure that Shadows is the best-looking Assassin's Creed ever, the team rescaled the world to more realistic ratios, added ray tracing global illumination, and utilized micro-polygon tech. We've actually had some form of global illumination in Assassin's Creed for years, says Fortin. But ray tracing global illumination allows us to be much more dynamic. In past Assassin's Creeds, global illumination was static. Light would bounce off surfaces and diffuse realistically, but it wouldn't and couldn't adapt to environmental changes, and while previous games didn't allow for many environmental changes, Shadows is filled with them. Lights can be turned off and on, doors can be cut down or smashed through, and bamboo trees, market stalls, and fences can all be destroyed. Thanks to ray tracing global illumination, the lighting interacting with all of these objects and environments will adjust accordingly. It even applies to whatever stands in front of the player's blade. If you slash through bamboo trees, they'll fall in the path your katana took. When we started looking into what we wanted to do with AC Shadows, we often said that we wanted to move from a beautiful postcard to a beautiful movie in the way that we produce super nice images and things like that, said AC Shadows technology director Pierre Fortin. But in this game, he continued, what we want to show is something that's a bit more in action and more dynamism on screen. Small details combine into a storm of immersion. Ubisoft believes this will drastically improve immersion, and in the behind-closed-doors tech presentation at Gamescom I was wowed by the efforts toward replicating the way trees, light, weather, and rain look in real life. It got to the point where the voice of the presenter, AC Shadows art director Thierry Dansereau, was drowned out by wind whistling through trees and water splashing through gutters, with visuals showing off-light dappling through leaves in a bamboo forest and snow flurries dusting snowflakes around the character's feet. These are the small details. What in your day-to-day life that surrounds us but we don't pay attention to, as Dansereau describes it, that in AC Shadows will passively usher players into being more immersed than other games before. When you're able to translate that into a video game experience, now players' brains perceive it as reality in a way, Dansereau said. This dynamic environment isn't just for looks. It affects how you'll play, the directors explained. Weather changes in the open world as time progresses, so maybe you'll want to wait until a night rainstorm to sneak into a castle town, where the blustery noise and curtains of rainfall will limit how perceptively guards can detect players. That cuts both ways. Fog on a humid summer day or a snowstorm might help conceal you, but winter weather might freeze a lake, stopping you from stealthily swimming up to a building. These are some of the many procedurally generated variables that make the world unpredictable, and thus more immersive, Dansereau said. As AC Shadows won't launch with last-gen compatibility for the PS4 and Xbox One, the team was able to push what the Anvil engine can deliver in the PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC. Shadows has ray tracing to enable light to glimmer off the surface of koi ponds and rivers. But the team also did plenty of research and pushed their lighting technology to add layers of weather particles that gets just the right flavor of light in Japan. There's a lot of light scattering through mist and fog, which makes that Japanese light that everyone refers to, like the people who travel to Japan, Dansereau said. Tech advancements in the Anvil engine mean many more objects are rendered far beyond the player's sight lines, minimizing the number of poorly rendered pre-made objects popping in the background. Like other under-the-hood improvements, this one's better if players don't pick up on it, Dansereau says. So maybe some people will never notice most of the features that we're putting in because it blends so seamlessly. So, if that's the case, it's perfect. This, too, required tech advancements to render objects cut in many ways and orientations, something specifically done to better enliven the setting of feudal Japan. We wanted to fulfill that fantasy of having a sword that's super sharp, Fortin said. We did push the tech in that direction to present a Japan that's more credible,